as we started doing the lessons, then I realized that I sort of had this little hidden dream in the back of my head that was maybe pushed back for several years, that I
Mhm.
wanted to sing, you know, in front of people.
How you feeling? Hi guys, that was Allison. Allison is my most recent graduate of the Hobbyist to Gigging Singer Artist Development Coaching Program. I'm going to take you through her journey, in part to celebrate her because she went through an incredible transformation, but also in the hopes that it will inspire you to listen to the calling that you have. Hang out with me and Allison for a little bit, find out how she went from not singing in the shower if she knew someone else was home to auditioning to front a band. By the way, I'm Judy Fine. I created the Singer Athlete Workout Program. That's my online singing course. I'm also an artist development coach, and I have a program called Hobbyist to Gigging Singer. You can check both of those out at onlinewithjudyfine.com. And don't forget, if you enjoy this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel. The first step to any dream is hearing the call, no matter how quiet or distant the sound of that call is. For most artist development clients, that first call is an inkling of an idea to take singing lessons, and that's what it was for Allison.
You know, I have a young daughter, and as a lot of moms, I sort of focused all my attention and energy on her for the last, several years. And I came to a point where I sort of felt like I lost myself, and I wanted to sort of get back into hobbies or something that was of interest just for me. And I was debating whether I was going to actually do baking classes. Couldn't find any. So then I really thought hard. But it was scary. But I thought about singing, and it was always something I was interested in when I was younger. But I never really pursued it due to fear or feeling like maybe I wasn't good enough compared to a lot of other people. So
Mhm.
I was very hesitant to look into singing, but I was Googling away and I came across your website in particular. And there was a couple blogs that really spoke to me. One was like, you're never too old to learn how to sing. And
Mhm.
another one was, you don't have to be born with it. Cause I think that was something I always thought, like, if I didn't just have a great voice right off the bat, then what's the point?
And that is a super common misconception. And it's further, it's like cultivated by all these competition singing shows because you're like, oh, well, I can't sing like that 8-year-old doing opera. So
Right.
clearly I should take a baking class. As is often the case, as Allison started to hear this call, this desire to pursue singing, she also started to hear these inner arguments against it. What were the things that might have been stopping you?
I definitely think I was nervous, like fear of failing at it, because I'm someone that really sets goals, and then I like to attain those goals and move on. So I was afraid maybe I wouldn't meet a goal. I was afraid of maybe it being a little silly. I'm in my 40s now. All of a sudden, I'm going to start singing. I thought maybe people would think that's a little silly or weird.
Mhm.
Also, just comparing myself to others. Again, thinking, well, if I haven't accomplished singing by now, why start now? So one of those things where I was thinking maybe I was a little too old to start.
A really common inner argument, and sometimes it's an outer argument, meaning it comes from other people in our lives, is this idea of what is the return on investment if I pursue this? What if you put time and energy and resources into this creative pursuit and you never make money at it? Some people might feel like it's selfish to be a mom and then do something like this. So, what would you say to that?
I definitely think it's hard. As moms, we're sort of taught to care about, and women care about everybody else, and ourselves are kind of last. But I, and I think I was a little nervous about that. I said, is this program going to take off too much time? Am I going to be able to do this? But I have noticed, like, my daughter has made several comments to me about like how proud she is of me, and like how she's seen me work on this, and she's even like talked to her friends at school and some of her teachers. It does set a very good example, because she's seeing that you're not too old to try new things or to do things that you enjoy. I've even noticed at my work, so like 20-year-olds are saying, I can't believe like you're doing, like, kind of looking up to me in that way. They're doing things now because I think it's motivated them to find some joy in their life that maybe they wouldn't have thought to do.
So, not only did Allison benefit from pursuing something that she feels good about, the pride of feeling like you're aligned with the person you've always wanted to be, the sense of purpose. But even beyond that, when Allison decided to go after something she really wanted, she inspired other people to do the same. Now, that's a much greater return on investment than this 60-inch flat screen television you want to buy. I'm not telling you not to buy that TV. I'm telling you not to value that TV more than pursuing a creative dream. Now, as Allison was doing vocal coaching with me, and she realized that she had this bigger dream behind this desire to take singing lessons, she decided to move into the Hobbyist to Gigging Singer coaching program. This is a 6-month program, which may sound like a lot, but it's not a lot of time. Now, to maximize our time, I gave her access to the Singer Athlete Workout Program so she could go through those 10 lessons on her own and then check in with me about her vocal practice progress. And that freed up more time to combine performance coaching with vocal coaching because performance was something that really scared her. Scale of 1 to 10, how intimidated were you by the idea of performance before you started working with me?
Now 10 is like very intimidated. Is that
Yes.
okay? Like an 11. You spoke about a bubble that you'd want to make sure you were moving around in your performance. Cause when I first was singing, I barely moved. I barely blinked. So just kind of a reminder to move around that space. Also, I think something that's helpful, I'm still working on, is just to sing songs like you're telling a story, to help get the emotion behind the songs as well was something helpful.
The bubble Allison is referring to is a way I get some clients to begin to just move more and take up more space, literally and energetically on stage. So you imagine a bubble around you and then you try to fill it, not all the time because that would be ridiculous, but you try to at times fill the entire bubble, whether it's down here or up there or whatever. So she was working on filling the bubble because she was so, she was like a stick on stage initially. And of course, connecting with your song, connecting with the words of the song and singing them as if they're your words and that you're telling to somebody or everybody, that is page 1 of performance coaching, because you have to connect with the song if you're going to have any hope of being a bridge between that song and the audience. Once we had laid the foundation of developing vocal polish and performance skills, then we could move into the other pieces of this coaching program. The first of which is managing your inner obstacles.
I think a big thing for me was I had these sort of negative assumptions that went through my mind that it was automatic that I didn't even realize were really there. There were some things that I did know, like I was afraid of, fear of rejection or fear of not being good enough. But there was some stuff that we kind of came across down to my adolescence that, from maybe coaches in the past or that I didn't realize I was still holding on to. So when I was, in my adolescence, I was larger, I was bigger. So I always had this mentality, kids are cruel. And they used to make fun of me, dance teacher, cruel about it, and then I lost weight and but I still held on to this internal, stigma and shame. And that still impacted me. Yeah. When we went through that inner obstacle, I didn't realize it was still hanging around, So I thought at this age, I said, oh, I don't care what people think, but I think I still was holding on to some of those fat Allison comments.
Very often when people experience stage fright or performance anxiety, it's really a result of having imposter feelings. This is the most prevalent inner obstacle that I experience with singers. That's why I have in the description of every YouTube video a link to an imposter syndrome quiz. No matter what you get score-wise on this quiz, there's information on the results page that can be useful. You can choose to enter your email address if you want to be on my email list, but you can also bypass that. So it's not a ploy to get your email address. I really want you to have the information if you need it. Meanwhile, here's Allison's take on imposter syndrome.
I remember that imposter syndrome, I had heard of it before. I didn't realize till I took the quiz that I was like 99.9% having I just thought it was I don't know. I didn't realize how strong it was in me. I just thought that was normal sort of thoughts that most of us have. I think that's held me back with a lot of things, not just singing, but other things. I'll say, oh, well, if I'm not good at it now, or I'll never be good at it, or, well, that person can do it better. So why should I even try? Like all those types of thoughts really hinders your ability to try new things. So it sort of helps helps me realize when I was thinking like that and just kind of reframe that and say, no, like you are worthy, you are good enough to try. So it's just one of those things that's helped me work on not just singing, but other things as well.
That's the tricky thing about imposter syndrome. It's not over-bloated modesty. You genuinely believe you're not as good. You genuinely believe you're a fraud that at any moment can be discovered. You genuinely believe you are less worthy than that person, or you don't deserve the promotion you just got, or whatever it is. If you genuinely believe these things, you don't know that there is something that can be corrected, fixed, transformed. You feel the feelings, and the feelings are real, but it's not because it's true. These are just feelings, and you can transform these feelings. So, okay, I didn't mean to go into all that, but just take the imposter syndrome quiz, okay? It's free. Developing your artist persona, I think, is the funnest part of the whole coaching program, because what we do is we sort of create your alter ego, or you in a parallel universe had you pursued your singing. This person gets a name, this person gets a little bit of a backstory, this person has a vibe, this person becomes your swagger, this person dresses a certain way. This is the person that you want to be when you're performing. Maybe you want to be this person in your entire life, but at least for your next musical project, this is the person you want to be. Allison's artist persona is named Sapphire. Sapphire dresses like this. She likes sundresses and what I call shit kicker boots. What was your take on the idea of creating this sort of alter ego?
It was a really interesting process. And I do think at first I was like, how is this going to be helpful? I know, because I'm just a very like pragmatic, realistic person. So it was hard for me to be more creative, imaginative, but it did help because I could sort of just channel, even if I was wearing like my Allison clothes, I could internally channel what I feel like Sapphire would act like or feel like. So like Allison's a little more unsure and people pleasing, and then Sapphire sort of, I would have to be like, you know what, let's bring in Sapphire and who cares what they think. And it kind of would help change your mindset a little bit. It took a while to get there, but it definitely like does help.
Once she was clear on who she wanted to be in the world, she had to practice being that person, being able to channel Sapphire when she needed her. So we started getting out there. And by getting out there, for her, this meant karaoke nights or open mics when they were set up for her to play backing tracks, because she doesn't play an instrument. Talk about the first time that we went to a karaoke night together.
Well, the first time I was definitely petrified and I barely moved. And I think I was looking at the ground half the time because I was so nervous. I definitely, when you were bringing up the performance things in that bubble, I was just like, I can barely keep my eyes open, let alone like move my arms. So I definitely was like, I don't know how this is gonna work, but I did notice as we practiced and as even when I practiced in your basement, like dressed up like Sapphire, there was an improvement from the first karaoke to that time. So it was definitely, I could see, it was nice to be able to see the progress, because sometimes I didn't know if I was progressing, but then just see it so clearly, it was cool.
Now, once Allison got a few karaoke nights under her belt, or performances with pre-recorded backing tracks, it was time to hook her up with a live musician. It's a whole different game with a live musician, because now there are two humans who can make mistakes. So I got a friend named Steve, who's a really great guitarist and just loves to play, and he was happy to volunteer his time to rehearse once with Allison and then do an open mic with her. All right, Allison and I are on our way to Steve's house to practice with a live musician. Allison's driving. Hi.
The moment that I step outside, so many reasons for me to run and hide. I can't do those little things I hold so dear, 'cause it's all those little things that I fear, 'cause I'm just a girl, I'd rather.
All right, Allison and I are at the worst house because she's about to sing at open mic tonight for the first time with a live musician accompanying her. This guy right here, say hi, Steve. Stay tuned.
When you sent me off to see the world, were you scared that I might get hurt? Would I try a little tobacco? Would I keep on hiking up my skirt? I'm hungry, I'm dirty, I'm losing my mind, everything's fine.
And how about about the first open mic with an actual guitarist?
Oh, that was fun. That was really fun. I was definitely nervous for that, but I felt like overall it went well. I know one of the songs we kind of screwed up, but we kind of worked through it and ended at the same time, so that was good. But it was actually a really nice experience because I had to sort of learn what to do when something doesn't go right. Which normally I would just freeze like a deer in headlights. So I tried not to do that. So it was definitely good.
The other way that we had to get Allison out there was to create her public face. Allison created a Bandmix profile. Bandmix is one of many websites where an artist can create a profile that other musicians can, who are looking for members of whatever musical project they're trying to put together, they can sort of peruse different profiles, see if they think someone's a match, and then reach out and see if you might be interested in their project. So I asked her to share her thoughts about that part of the process.
I definitely needed some encouragement for it because I do think the imposter syndrome did come back a bit for that, because when I was looking through some of the ads, a lot of people were very, very experienced or already in bands or looking for, just more experienced musicians. So I felt a bit intimidated. I kind of started having those thoughts like, why am I even trying this? Like, no one's gonna want to have a beginner / intermediate singer. I started having those thoughts. So I was kind of hesitant to do it. I think you had to push me a bit to do it. And I did have some back and forth with some people, and some of them were saying, we want someone more experienced and whatnot, but they were very nice about it. So it didn't really hurt my feelings at all. But I think it was definitely intimidating when you look and see the experience that other people might have. And then I think, naturally compare yourself to that.
And this is where Sapphire comes into play, because if I asked Allison, well, do you want to do this? Are you feeling like this is something you don't want to do? She might say, I don't know, I'm scared, I don't want to do this. But if I said to her, how does Sapphire feel about this? Sapphire definitely wanted to do it. So eventually, it took a couple of months, but Allison started interacting with a drummer who was already in a band with a male singer, and he and his bandmates were considering adding a female singer to sort of change up their vibe.
It's been hard for me to find other musicians that like the same type of music. So I was excited that we both had a lot of the same songs that we liked. But he kind of reminded me of Steve, very nice guy. We talked a few times on Zoom ahead of time, and we both got along really well. So I wasn't really nervous about that. And then when he wanted me to come and kind of audition, then I started getting nervous.
So Allison had bagged an audition, and I want to be clear, this isn't just them auditioning her, she's auditioning them. So she and this drummer, they went back and forth a little bit to decide on a handful of songs that everybody wanted to try, and she practiced those songs. And at this point, Allison and Sapphire are pretty much running the show here. And I'm just sort of checking in once in a while and seeing how they're doing. There was one song she asked me for some feedback on, and we worked on that one song together. But really, Allison and Sapphire are pretty much doing their own thing at this point.
This is it. We're on our way. Allison's gonna go sing with her possible musician friends, future band. Yeah, I didn't write a script for this, clearly.
Can't tell.
All right, we're gonna warm up.
It's almost time.
See if that orange.
Take this pink ribbon off my eyes. I'm exposed, and it's no big surprise. I'll keep you locked in my head until we meet again. Until we meet again. I won't forget you, my friend.
Okay, we just left Allison's first audition singing with the band. How do you feel?
I think it went well. It was cool.
Are you proud?
Yeah.
She did so good.
I was very nervous. I felt like at points my throat was almost like getting tight, and it was like I was preventing me from practicing because I was like worried I was gonna hurt my throat. So I was like nervous and excited, and then today just kind of, I don't know, I was actually calmer than I normally am, because I think I just was like, well, this is it, and try not to put too much pressure on it, and everybody was very laid back, which I think helped a lot. So
Yeah, they were great people.
yeah.
So we drive up and park. What's in your head as we're walking to the house?
Oh shit, I'm really gonna do this. Oops, I swear.
And so the first time you had to like hold the mic and they want you to do a sound check.
Oh, I was nervous. I was like kind of shaky and not really singing fully because I was just really nervous. And then I kind of just decided, whatever, just go with it. And I just gave it my all after. But in the first couple of moments, I was definitely feeling a lot nervous.
When you walked out, how were you feeling?
Good. I felt like it went well. I was happy. I was relieved a little bit because I had these expectations that everything had to be picture perfect in my head, and everyone was kind of, had points where they were screwing up, not just me. So it was kind of nice. Yeah, so it was nice to have it be more relaxed than I think I had in my head pictured.
So you got home that night after the audition, and what?
They emailed me saying that they wanted to keep working with me, that they liked me. So that was really cool. Yay.
Allison's transformation was awesome and fun and inspirational. I hope you find it inspirational. The last time we talked over Zoom, I just asked her to share some final thoughts.
I think every step of the way was really, really important for me because every step unlocked something that I didn't know was stuck inside me. So I didn't realize really that I had this dream of gigging until we started opening up. I started opening up these inner obstacles and sort of started visualizing what I wanted for myself, which I never really allowed myself time to do. And so I think that I wouldn't be where I am today without the courses, without your help. Because I think I probably would have gotten stuck and then not taken the time to try to get unstuck. So I think it's a very helpful program. It's an important program. I never would have thought starting with you that I would have been trying out for a band, like at all. I would have laughed at you if you said that. And I think you did say that. And I think I did laugh at you. So maybe that.
So you're not lying. If you met somebody today who was considering the same thing, but has the same kind of fears, what would you say to that person?
I would say meet with you because you really helped make me feel more confident and realize that a lot of people feel this way. Even people who I would probably see out singing and they sound awesome probably have these similar feelings. But they pushed through it and were able to get there. So I think, push yourself, meet someone like Judy to help you through it and not to give up. Yeah.
Allison summed it up perfectly. You're as human as the people you admire. The fact that other people are ahead of you on a similar journey does not mean you're not worthy. It just means you're not where they are in the journey. There was a time when they were where you are. There was a time when they probably doubted themselves. They might still doubt themselves now. You are as human as everyone else, even the people you admire. So go after your dreams. We live once, as far as we know, one life. Don't waste it not doing things that make you feel good. Thank you so much for hanging out with Allison and Sapphire and I today. And I'll see you next time.